Life here, bringing as a brand new video, and today I want to discuss something that I saw recently and have only just now had the time to talk about. So this is a bit of an older story, but oh well. And it's the simple fact that freaking I believe it was EA and their oh so wonderful NBA 2K series. Actually, wait, is that THQ? Oh well, it doesn't matter. It's one of the big AAA industry companies and everything. They recently showed off the next NBA game, and basically they revealed that it's going to be $70 for getting it on PS5. Now, this is something that a lot of people have been trying to talk about for a while, about the idea of bringing games up by $10, okay? So, right now, if you want to go out and buy a brand new game, it's going to run you $60. That's the general price point. If you're talking about like a brand new 3DS game and Vita game, back when they were still getting new games, it was $40, but that was what was the acceptable amount for portable games. And then Switch, it's usually $60 as well, because it's seen more as a console than it is as a handheld. So, the average price of a video game has been $60 for as long as I can remember. Like, literally, just thinking back to when I first really started actually paying attention to the prices, it's been $60 for a long time. At least back to PS3, maybe even the PS2 era. Maybe PS2 era, it was a little bit cheaper or something. I've heard that it was originally $50 and then it got boosted to $60. I don't know if that's true, purely because I was just so young and I didn't know anything about prices, and it's kind of hard to find any data on that, but I don't know. Anyway, so games have been $60 for at least since the PS3 era. And they've been trying, and by they I mean the journalists and the game companies have been trying to get the idea of in our heads that games should be more expensive than $60, since at least midway, maybe even to like three-fourths of the way through the previous generation, all the way throughout the PS4 Xbox era, I've heard this discourse get brought up at least once a year, and it is very annoying, okay? And there's one big reason for that. Now, let's look at the biggest reason why they are trying to advocate for the increase of video games pricing. That being that games are getting more expensive. I mean, if you look at a PS4 game like, I don't know, Monster Hunter World, the game I'm showing in the background, and compare it to, like, the PS2, graphics are ridiculously different. Games have just gotten more and more beautiful, and it costs more and more to make. And now, that being said, games are also getting easier to make as well. Heck, there's a game on PC that I actually picked up a while ago called Bright Memory. I have yet to play it. I really need to get around to it. Maybe I'll try and record some gameplay to use in the back of a video eventually. But that game, from the screenshots and trailers I've seen and gameplay, my god, it's pretty. And guess what? It was made by one dude. One dude made Bright Memory. And so you might be thinking, okay, well, what's up with that? Okay, it's an indie game. It's only like a few hours long from what I understand. There's a bigger version coming out later because he got picked up by a bigger studio, which is pretty cool. But you got that, and then you got Hell's Blade: Senua's Sacrifice. That also was a very small game with a rather small budget, but it's got graphics that rival the big budget games industry. And that is mainly because games, while yes, they are getting more expensive to make, they are getting more efficient and easier to make as well, which means that most of the budgets for these bigger games, it's the marketing. It's the marketing that they go into. Like, good lord, leading up to The Last of Us 2, it was impossible to escape an ad for The Last of Us 2 for a good few weeks after it was, I mean, just before it was coming out and everything, and even afterwards, too. And of course, that's not even counting like them paying people to do reviews, paying people to do previews and all this, and doing all the big shows at like E3 and everything. So really, I would say most of the budget that's going into these games nowadays is the marketing. Then of course you also got the way overpaid CEOs. So that is that's a whole other topic and everything. But my point being is that that's the two main reasons. The games are just getting too expensive to make, and they're trying to use that as the reason to do it. That being said, if you're going to go ahead and use that as the argument for it as well, you can't use it for the argument for microtransactions as well, okay? One of the big reasons why I've been avoiding AAA games for so long, with the only exceptions being games from series that I have loved ever since I was a kid, like Monster Hunter, and also the fact that the companies who make most of these games, like for instance Monster Hunter, like Monster Hunter is like the perfect example of what a AAA game should be. Okay, I'm just gonna be 100% honest, but in all seriousness, these companies have been trying to use microtransactions as an excuse for keeping the cost low. Basically saying that, oh yeah, we put these expensive microtransactions, charge you a couple bucks for a costume or a character or a god, like freaking Call of Duty charged what, like $5 for a freaking reticle on a scope once, if I remember correctly. Like, God, it gets ridiculous. And that's been their argument with that for so long, and now they're trying to use it for increasing the game value. But they've also been using that argument to keep the games down at 60 instead of going up 70. So you can't have it both ways, is my big point there, okay? You can't use the same argument to both increase and decrease, or rather keep the price of AAA games at the current level. It doesn't make sense, okay? And to be 100% honest, let's say games do come out at $70, okay? And there's nothing we can do about it, okay? Guess what's going to happen? They're still going to jam-pack them full of microtransactions. Watch it. NBA and all the new Call of Duties and whatever else we're getting to start in the next console generation, they're still going to be full of microtransactions because, as the great Jim Sterling says, they don't want some of the money, they want all the money. And that is the big crux of the issue here. It's really just a shame, too, because that... I get where they're coming from, but at the same time, like, seriously, they don't need to increase it that much. And heck, they don't need to increase it at all. Keep things at 60, I guess keep microtransactions in the big games. Or, hey, I don't know, cut back on the freaking spending on marketing and everything. That would help out a lot, and you'd probably gain a lot more people checking out your games. Because, let me just say this right now. If they do indeed increase the price to $70, I am never buying a game brand spanking new. Okay, I already have extreme doubts of getting any of the new consoles. I pretty much have told myself I'm not getting the PS5, and I've made a big video about that because Sony's censorship is getting ridiculous. And I'm not an Xbox person. I'm happy with my Switch, with my current gen PS4 and everything, and I'm happy with my PC because I can play pretty much any of the big console games that are coming out on it. So I don't really need any of these new consoles that are coming out. And on top of that, if I even did get them, I'm not dropping $70 on a game. I'm already not dropping $60, okay? It's hard enough for me to justify that. It's really got to be a game from a series that I love near and dear or have an extreme interest in order to justify a $60, expenditure. And it's just going to be even harder to justify that if it's bumped up to $70. I can buy so many used games for $70. And, that's the big thing with AAA games in general. I've pretty much stopped buying them. Horizon Zero Dawn, okay, it was $60 when it came out. I got it for $12 a year later. For $12. All I had to do was wait a year. I have enough of a backlog to where I can honestly go the next 3 years without buying any new games, and I will still have new stuff to play. Partly because of the Steam summer sales. Like, good lord, I have way too many games I have never touched. But I digress. So, like, there's no rush to run out and get these AAA games, especially since they aren't even usually finished when they come out. Like, God, anybody remember Assassin's Creed Unity? Anybody remember the past few Assassin's Creeds, like, in terms of quality at launch and everything? Or, heck, Call of Duty. They just rushed these games out. Even SpongeBob got rushed out. Like, God, it's at least playable compared to some of the big AAA games that get rushed out. But, it's ridiculous with the crunch and the rushing and everything that I just don't see any point to rushing out and buying a AAA game right away. It just doesn't make any sense. And bumping it up to $70 is going to make so many people, not just me, further decide not to run out and get games right when they come out. And that's the sad issue. I like getting a brand new game. I like being a part of the discussion when the game first comes out. Good Lord, when Monster Hunter World first came out, it was like I was a kid again playing Try on the Wii. I totally get why people want to, rush out and get these big games and everything. I've been hearing a lot of good things about, like, Ghost of Tsushima. Am I going to run out and get it? No, I'm going to be able to get it for $10 next year. I don't see a point. Or heck, knowing Sony, they sometimes will even make these big AAA games, PS Plus games later on. Like Horizon Zero Dawn, I honestly regretted buying it because a month after I bought it, it was like the freaking... Actually, I don't think it was a month. It was a while after I bought it, but they made it a PSN Plus game, and since I hadn't played it yet, I just sold off the copy and downloaded the free version. So I don't know. It's just something that I think is really stupid. Game developers are going to be shooting themselves in the foot if they do indeed increase games up to $70. But that's just my opinion. And I just really had to rant about it because I see this discourse come out every now and then, and it's just so annoying, and I just had to vent. So, what do you guys think? Do you think that games need to go up to $70? Would you buy a game at $70? Would you rush out to buy, like, the Xbox One X series, whatever the heck it's going to be called, I forget, and then, get the, like, a bunch of games for it? Like, God, like, let's say Xbox Series X is $400, and then you buy 2 games for it. You're spending over $500 on it. Like, I mean, granted, if they're $60, you're still doing well over $500, but you get my point. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I'm feeling very conflicted about everything going on, so just trying to be happy. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out my other videos. I do game discussions, talk about my favorite figures, anime, manga, and everything in between. See y'all later. Rate, comment, subscribe. Peace out.